Hi, thanks for coming back to my next video. Today I'm going to be doing the potable and gray water tank setup. Today I'm going to be setting up the frame for my potable and gray water tank. Alright, so what I've decided to do is I had talked in the past about putting the gray water tank underneath. I may still do that. However, I'm also doing this as a little bit of a challenge to see what I can fit in the bus without doing anything underneath. So what I'm going to do is I do have my pieces cut. This is the initial portion I put down below for this tank. I have underneath there a solid piece of plywood. What I am going to do is take this off. I'm going to mount it on these 4 feet once they are secure. It'll give plenty of support for the potable water on tank, and the gray water will be down below. So I'm going to do that first, and I'll do a little bit more update at the end of this video. Alright, so let me see if I can go over step by step what I've done. It may not be in a specific order, but in order to put both tanks aside, I needed to build a frame that would go from, a lower portion and an upper portion. So what I did under here, under both sides, is I cut 4 pieces, 4 legs, which went from here and on this side. Now on this side, I used this piece of plywood to keep these from moving back and forth this way. And once the top piece gets put on top, it's not going to go anywhere this way at all. I did put, you can see an extra piece here, even though it sticks out down here. I didn't have a really good mounting down at this bottom. I could buy L pieces to replace this eventually, but this is a short piece. I had the screws and I put it in just to keep it going from this way. And I've done the same thing up here as well. You'll see I have ratchet straps for the top one and the bottom one, so that's not really going to go any place this way. It's going to be pretty secure. Now at some point I may end up putting some brace on the front, but I really don't think it's going to go anywhere, and I can tighten these up, especially once the water is in here. This is definitely not going to go anywhere. I probably won't need to do anything further. Now the other thing that might have been an issue, but my brother and I talked some things over about this being the potable water per tank being up so high, because the fill, if you can see in the background, is going to be actually where the window is. So what I'm going to do, once the fill and the overflow is mounted in here, in the overflow, it's still going to, the overflow will actually come out to a pipe and go right down through the floor into the ground. The fill, even though it would have to dip down to go into the back wall, I'm going to mount a hose from here to here, be some kind of flexible hose and be secure, or something to go right out into a panel on the outside that I can lock. So it won't be really an issue because the water is not going to have to flow up that much. And I'll just have to remember to bring an extra hose to hook on the outside. It'll just be a different attachment. And the gray water tank down below, the drain will be going out right out through the floor when I need to drain that out, and I'm over where the tires are, so it shouldn't be an issue putting a pipe in to get that to drain out properly. Now for this side I did the same thing, well, a little bit different, is I mounted this up top, and the screws going through the top. I just couldn't get the screws to go properly through the bottom. I didn't have enough working area, and again I wanted to keep this from going backwards and forwards. I don't think I'll need to do anything different. I might put a piece in here instead later on with a buffer behind, but I really don't think I'll need to do that. Down below I've got these legs that were pretty good. Weren't going to go anywhere, but it didn't hurt to put an extra piece down here. Alright, so there is my potable water and gray water tank setup. Eventually I may be placing this one outside. I haven't decided yet. My reason for putting all this inside is I'm watching a lot of van videos as well, even though vans are smaller than what I have for a diesel bus. And the other difference is I'll probably be carrying more water than most van lifers do, but those videos are really great for me, especially the van life videos, because to see what little you need to take with you to be happy on the road. And that's why I'm putting these on the inside, because the more that's inside, the less I really need to take with me, and I think I'm going to be all set. Alright, and I do want to do a little bit of close-up. What you're seeing here, what I put in, this was actually leftover, I guess, kind of yoga mat pad, and I just wanted to put something under each tank. So when I'm going down the road, you know, there's going to be even the slightest movement, but I just didn't want it rubbing right against the wood itself. So I put this yoga mat stuff in between, sort of as a buffer so that there's not so much wear and tear on these units.